Go.
Peace, 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 peace. Welcome, everybody. If you see us on your screen, it is Saturn Day. We are back with another episode of UnRead with Nick and Roo. And as you can see, we have a special guest in the room today for today's Portal 2/22/2025. We have Sister Portia in the room that is going to be bringing us some dynamic information. So I'm so glad that everyone can join us today. Here on UnRead, as you know, we bring to you books that we have not read yet that are in our reading collections that we have. And sometimes we have books that we reread. And many times we try when we can to get the authors of these amazing books to come in and talk to us a little bit more intimately about the book itself, the process, and anything else they feel we may need to be able to glean from their tremendous contributions to our community. Today is no different. It is something that I'm very excited for because it's about an area where I also have struggled, which is finance. So I'm here, I think, as the novice, because Nick, if I'm not mistaken, you a money man. So you are already here in this space. And so I am the one here that is really looking forward to this conversation. And all of you who are watching, I hope you got your pens and paper ready, your questions ready, because the sister is here to drop all the information you need to be able to touch that you want to touch and get to your goals that require you to have a little bit more financial education. So, Nick, thank you so much for introducing us to another member of your beautiful family, the numerology family. Yes, people, that's why she's here. It's 222. How can we not have a money person here on 222? Portal time. So, Nick, I'm going to turn the floor over to you. Portia, I'm so excited to get ready to listen to you. So, hey, I'm going to yield the floor and let you go, Nick.
All right, all right. Well, I mean, you see the title, Fiat the digital, so you see we're talking about money, like Rue mentioned, and she also mentioned that this is one of my family members from the greatest Astro-Numerology group of the 21st century. But I mean, aside from numerology, Astro-Numerology, and finance, this sister can talk to you about real estate. She could talk to you about metaphysics, history. She could talk to you about the New World Order that we were talking about a few weeks ago. She could talk to you about a lot of things aside from the purpose of what she's here to do. But I introduced to some of you all for the first time. We got some of the family in the chat. Shout out to Numeralytics and BTVs in the house. She know who's this is.
Yes.
You were over there a few weeks ago doing a powerful breakdown on twin flame soulmates and self-love around the love day energy. So I introduced to you all Porcha Cooper, author, real estate broker, investor, astro-numerologist, crypto enthusiast, yoga practitioner, traveler, all the things. Welcome, Portia.
Oh, thank you so much. That was a wonderful introduction, Nick. I appreciate that. And I wanted to mention that your video on Black Love, man, that was powerful because I wasn't even thinking about February 13th being a holiday and knowing that it's for Black Love, now I'm going to start celebrating that more often, right? We need to get away from the whole Valentine's thing, but that's another topic for another conversation, right? So, but yes, I do appreciate being here, and you guys, it's a blessing, like I said before, to even have the opportunity just to be in the presence of of company like yourself. I just feel like we all are on the same par when it comes to just a wide variety of topics and things that we can talk about. So I'm ready to get it started.
All right, Rue. You got some questions. So you might as well go ahead
I
and get
know she came with
to
her
your
list, so I'm
questions.
ready for it. I'm
Listen,
ready
but
for it.
look, our audience knows that I am the question lady. I lay sometimes and just think of questions. I got like a little notebook with like all kinds of questions for all kinds of people. So that's why I encourage the people who watch us and the people who share our work, always reach out to us, Nick, myself, our general Instagram page, email. Let us know what you want to talk about, because believe it or not, we probably want to talk about it anyway. So
Mhm.
Mhm.
so this is no difference for me. So I like to start like this, if I may. First of all, again, thank you for being here. The relationship with money is so delicate of an issue. I think for many of us, because either we've had some really great experiences or some really traumatic experiences. And for me, I know that my mom was an accountant. So I was introduced to some concepts about banking and things like that at an early age. My uncle worked for Merrill Lynch. He taught us about things like penny stocks and all kinds of stuff like that. But I will say that the environment that I was in, that I was actually being raised in, even though I had those introductions to money, it wasn't something that I was able to incorporate to the life that I ended up having. Money had become one of those things that felt like it was very elusive. It felt like, in my family, we didn't have any generational wealth, so to speak of, because people had made some poor choices. So to
Mhm.
have you here today to talk to us about going from one type of system to another, I think for many of us, we didn't even understand the first system. So this second system really has us worried, like, can we do this? Are we capable of doing this? Especially when you see so many people talking about different things like forex and trading and stocks and bonds and all these different things, let alone what's going on in politics. So to have you here today to answer some questions would be great. So what I'd like to know is, what was your relationship with money, and how did you get into this area? Has it always been an interest of yours?
Money has always fascinated me. And just like you said, your mother was an accountant, right? So she dealt with
Yes.
money all the time. She had I'm assuming was a well-paying job, right? It provided for the family and all that good stuff. Yet you as a child didn't pick up any good money habits. So I'm not sure what the dynamic was, right? But we all learn money in a different way. It doesn't matter how good your parents are. If your parents are rich, oftentimes the kids don't adopt the same type of money principles, right? They tend to waste money more. That's what they were talking about, the Generation X, because remember, our generation are the ones that are the kids from the boomers, and the boomers are the ones that saved all the money, have all the real estate and all that good stuff. And what did the Gen X do as soon as they inherit that stuff? Well, they just sell it, right? We just want the money just to go do whatever we want to do with it, and not really think about the long term. So I just think as a generation, our generation didn't really learn good money principles as a whole, and we're all tied to an old paradigm where it says save, 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 right? Save this, save a dollar, save this and that, while the system is steady inflating money, right? Which means that it's devaluing the dollar, the devaluation of the dollar, which in turns means that the money that you're saving isn't as much as you think you're saving. So me as a young child, I've had experience with money where were not so good. I had situations when I think I was like in the second grade or first grade. We would have parties, and kids would bring things for the parties and whatnot, and my mom never would give me anything to go get whatever I needed for the party. So my teacher pulled me to the side and told me, hey, if you don't bring anything next time, then you're not going to be able to participate. And that was the first time that made me realize that, okay, so there's some haves and have nots here, right? Like, I didn't understand it, like why I felt like I was at a disadvantage than other kids, but that's why it stemmed from the fact that I didn't have money, right? I didn't have the money that would afford me to go get the things that were needed for the party. So that impacted me. And also, as soon as I got a dollar, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go get what I want. And so, yeah, I had the clothes, I had the Coach bags, I had this and I had that. But what type of future was I building for myself? Because that is not worth anything at the end of the day. So I had to really take a look at my money habits, how I was spending, because I would, in real estate, you'd make thousands of dollars on a paycheck, right, on a commission check, but I would make it as soon as I'd make it, I'd spend it, and I couldn't figure out where was it going. So I had to really step back and look at my relationship with money. Where did it stem from? What kind of habits and why? Why, right? Because I have to figure out, why am I reacting this way or behaving in this manner or have these emotional ties to something that is not necessary, right? If we think about it, money is not necessary for you to live, right? You need air, you need water. Far as I know, as soon as air's cut off from you, you're going to die, right? Within a matter of minutes, depending on how good your lungs are. Water the same way, right? After a few hours or a couple of days without some water, you can potentially die. But money's not that. So why do we put so much emphasis as society on something that is not a necessity for our basic survival? And so I just wanted to dive deeper into that and just the concepts as a whole on how we view money, and not just in the Black community, because we already know, but just on a whole, because we worship people who have money. Look at Elon Musk, look at Donald Trump, look at Bill Gates, right? Look at Zuckerberg, look at all these billionaires. People throw rose petals damn near at their feet because they have money. And why is that? Right. So that's the dynamic that I wanted, because I don't think somebody who has less money, if you got $10 in the bank account, you may be a better person than all the people who are billionaires, right? It counts what's in the inside. So I look at it from a standpoint as money being a tool, and it's just something that we need for basic living, right? In this society, because if you go to other societies, like other countries, Bali or anywhere else, they don't value money as much, and so you wind up having a cost of living that you can afford, versus here, United States, where there's more emphasis on having and consumerism. So that's really where it still stemmed from, Rue.
I so resonate with that. And I resonate with it, but I'm sitting here on the inside kind of like smiling to myself, because I think about how my mom didn't think her lessons were getting through. But just listening to what you said, let me show you the opposite of growing up with an accountant as a mom. I remember Howard Savings Bank. I don't know if anybody, I'm dating myself. Howard Savings Bank, shout out to Howard Savings Bank. In their ABC program, they started when I was maybe like in the first grade. They came around, they took us all to the bank. They showed us what a bank teller was, how to fill out checks, and do checks and balances in your checkbook. And every week, you had to give $1. You know what I mean? If you didn't give $1, the next week you had to give $2. So this was kind of where I got that in school. Now at home, my mom, while she did have a good job, I had a father who was a gambler. So she taught us completely different than buying things. Everything was a budget. Everything had a budget. How much we could use for school, how much we could, what our allowance was, what part of the allowance we had to save. And and not only that, things like not getting credit cards. If you can't pay for it in cash, you don't need it. If you have to ask the price of it, you don't need it. So it was like this very scarcity kind of mindset put around money, where when you get it, you better hold it, because you can end up losing it all at once. Like, my father would have some great wins, and then he would have these major fails. And so because of that, we saw this seesaw of money, and we never thought of money as something that if we let it go too easily, we would be able to get it back. But one of the things I learned living in the street, because I had been on my own for a long time, as I got older, was scared money can't make no money. So now I went from this mindset of saving everything to going all in. So it was this big shift in trying to change my mindset. But what was happening was, even though I had swung to this, I know you have to do something in order to be able to make it, you can't hold it. It was also this fear that if I invest too much or invest in the wrong thing, or maybe I buy the wrong thing, I'm going to be poor later, you know. And for anybody who has listened to us on different platforms that we're on, you know, I let people know my struggle was real. Homeless, raising children, you know, a gazillion degrees, but jobs that didn't, you know, really pay me what I was worth. So I always felt like I was behind the eight ball because I was always the breadwinner, you know. So it was a difficult kind of thing. So I wouldn't spend money on myself. I'm not the girl with the Coach bags. I'm the girl with the you know, bag from the salvo that I done went and repurposed. Now, has that served me later? Has served me better later? Absolutely, because I make a lot of money from the things I do now. But in the same mindset, back then it was very embarrassing as a young person to not be included in things because you didn't have the money. When my friends would get new sneakers, or you know, Lee jeans was a big thing back then, and everybody was getting the seams put on their Lee jeans, and you had to have somebody do that or paint them up, and you know, you got to have somebody do that. And we just didn't have that kind of money because my mother taught us that that was a waste of money when we could be saving it, you know. So one of the things that I'm very interested in talking with you today is, how do we not only educate the youth about money itself, but this quickly changing, you know, atmosphere that we have for in moving forward? Because you know, things move so quickly in that world that I think that is, for those of us who didn't have that kind of education, it could be a little intimidating. So you know, I have children who invest, and that's their big thing. You know, my brother is in Forex, and that's his thing. And they always come to me. I be like, nah, I'm gonna save this money, right? And, you know, I'm like, nah, I don't think we need that. You know what I'm saying? I think that can get another year's use or whatever. So I would love to, when I was looking at your book and I was looking at some of the chapters, that's the one I think I was most excited about, is changing our mindset about money and how that really works. Because we can tell ourselves all the time, you know, we can make these affirmations, you know, money comes easily, money. But in the back of your mind, if that seed is still there, like, girl, you better hold on to that dime for you don't have one. Like, you know, if that's still there, how do we get those deep seated fears out of us?
And that's a great question, and I love your backstory, because you're right. You know, even though you grew up with a structured mom as far as how money should be, she squeezed the life out of every dollar that she would get in her hands because she feared that it would be gone the next day, and so that instilled fear in the children as far as money being something elusive. Like, it's like trying to hold on to water. No matter how hard you try to squeeze your palm, it's still going to slip right through your fingers, right?
Yeah.
So and then we, as the Black community as a whole, we have that mindset because scarcity plays a big part in our story, right? We never had enough. We lived in lack. We lived in poverty, and that's been the backstory or the backdrop for a lot of us generationally. When we can overcome such mindsets, and unfortunately, they are passed down from family member to family member, just like your religious beliefs, right? Your money mindset is passed down just like religion, right? How money is treated in your household, or usually how you're going to be basically interacting with money when you become an adult, right? And some people have an aversion to how they were raised, especially if their parents are really tight, never got them anything. Then they're like, well, as soon as I get my own money, I'm just going to go hog wild and buy everything. And so then you become this person who's out of control with your spending because you had something to prove now, right? Because you lived a life that was restricted. Or you could be in a situation where you did have money growing up, but you basically didn't know how to hold on to money. So now when you don't have this money, like your parents supporting you like they were in the past, you don't know how to budget. You don't know how to, take care of your basic bills. Your lights are cut off every month. So it just really depends on what was formed in the beginning. Now, with that being said, it takes some self introspection to find out why you are reacting the way that you are acting with money, right? You need to ask yourself, where do I form this belief about money? Why do I believe money is scarce, right? I see all these billionaires, right? Obviously, if they have this many billionaires, obviously money is in supply and circulation. How do I make this money circulate to me? right? And what we have to realize is we need to become the currency. There is so much wealth as far as content creation, ideas, all that good stuff within you. Once you come up with something that can basically yield or leverage for money, then you see a difference in how life can be. But you need to become money first, and that was the first thing that I had to really think about, because I was like, well, how can I, how can I attract money? What doesn't like attract like, right? If I have something of value, want to attract more value. So that's the first concept you have to look at first is, okay, to fix my money situation, because, I may be in a job that I don't like. I may be in a job that doesn't pay well. I may be struggling month to month, whatever that situation is. You need to really dig deep within yourself to find out what it is, what kind of service, what kind of investment, what kind of idea, what kind of book, whatever it is that you can come up with that can pay you something, right? People will actually pay for whatever it is that you have. Become the money, right? You want to convert whatever you have into money. That's the first step, because that's going to help you with being able to get out of your situation first and foremost. And I'm not saying it needs to be $1 million idea right now. Maybe this extra money, this idea may only net you a couple of $100 a month, but at least that's a couple of $100 a month that you didn't have to worry about working extra hours at your job, or go hustling somewhere, or doing something that you didn't want to do, right? To make money. And I look at it from an aspect of, in our society, we put a lot of emphasis on money, right? We step, a lot of people will step on their own mother to get to a dollar. A lot of people are willing to do some things for $1 million that they normally wouldn't do, right? Whether it's sell their body, right? Whether it's out there doing things in the streets like selling drugs that you wouldn't do, selling poison to people, right? In order to pay your bills. And what I'm saying is, there's so many ways nowadays to make money without having to go down those poisonous avenues. And one of the things is crypto, right? So if you can't think of an idea or something, then maybe your next bet is to buy you some crypto and get into the crypto. Because from here, your money will multiply more so than it would in putting it in a savings account. And I also have a backstory for that, because I remember when I was in high school, I was president of this social club, this teen social club, and they invited a guy from Charles Schwab or one of those finance groups. And he came and spoke to everybody. And I think at the time I might have been 16 or 17. And he was like, if you open up a mutual fund right now, start putting money in there. By the time you're 45, you will have XYZ, blah, 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 amount of money. And I thought that was a good idea until I realized, I was like, well, that's just a finite amount of money. What if I bought a building, right, and rented it out? Then that's money that will ever be flowing, right? That's cash flow. See, that's the things they don't teach you in school. See, the rich know a different way when it comes to living, right, which is called passive income. We were never taught passive income in school. We were taught to save money in a piggy bank, right? Go to the bank, save your money, because the bank makes money off your money, right? It's all a propaganda. You're not making the money off your money. They are, because they're loaning out the money that you're putting in the bank and giving you a fraction, right? Fraction of interest that slowly grows your money over time. And that's why they try to get you at a young age to do that, because it's going to take time, right? At the amount, at the rate that they're giving you to actually make money. Well, in DeFi and crypto space, it's not like that. You can actually make money. You can borrow money from the crypto that you have invested, go loan that money back out, and then invest it into more coins, right? That are going to yield you more than what you put in there. You don't have that option with the regular banking system. Yeah, you can go put your money in a savings account, and that's all well and good, but it's not going to yield you anything. So, I am a big advocate for either one, investing in real estate, right, where it's going to pay you some passive income, or two, investing in crypto. And you mentioned stocks. Stocks are good, but I would say as a whole, you kind of want to stick to certain things. I love investing in what's called REITs, real estate investment trust, which is basically stocks, but they're based on real estate. And at least that's tied to an asset, right? Something a tangible asset you can actually touch. When you're talking about stocks from a company, that's intangible, right? That's not, if that company goes under today, then you just lost all your money. But at least in a real estate investment, they still have the building, right? And at some point, even if the building's not being rented, they could probably sell it, right? Cash out the stock and the stockholders or what have you. So for me, real estate has always been a safer bet than just regular stocks. But of course, do your research and all that, because I'm not a financial advisor. I like to put that disclaimer out there. But when it comes to the mindset, it's one hurdle that you're going to have to get over, but it's also a personal journey. Now, I, as a mindset coach, I help you identify those things. And then we work to reframe your perspective about how you see money. Because right now, a lot of people think that they have to strive, work hard, right, for money. And that's not the case. Now, it's only the case if you make it. Because remember, your imagination is what creates your destination, right? So if you imagine things to be hard, then it's going to be hard to get to your destination. But if you imagine that things will work out for you, it's going to be easy, things are going to flow seamlessly into your life, then that's how it's going to be. And I can be, I'm actually a witness to that testimony, because things have happened to me. Just like the other day, I was saying, maybe I should start prospecting for more $1 million listings, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't really, go into it a whole lot of detail as far as like thinking about it that much more. And then the next thing I know, the following day, I get a lead for $1 million listing. So I didn't even have to prospect for that. But at the end of the day, that's how we attract things, right? You have to attract things in such a subtle manner, but knowing that things are going to work out for you, but not overthink it. And a lot of times it's our mind. I also like to call myself a thought analyzer, because you really have to analyze what you're thinking, but not only, more importantly, what you're thinking, but what you're feeling about that thought, because that's going to drive or determine what happens next in your life, right? Because it's all energy, right? Your thoughts are energy, and what you're manifesting is energetic, because we're all part of this divine creation, which is really a ball of energy. God is the main energy source, right? And it streams through all of us, right? That same God energy, God source, whatever you want to call it, right? We all have that power, that divinity within us. It's just that we haven't realized our greatness. And I'm here to show you your greatness, to help you step into your power, because it's all about you, how you see yourself, and the world outside of you, including money. Because as I said before, money is just energy, and you need to become that energy in order to attract it.
Wow. Wow, all of those words, y'all checking this out, right? I thank y'all for being here. We got Sister Porcha Cooper talking to us about something that's so important, being able to change our mindset when it comes to money. Nick, I got a list of questions over here, but I'm going to yield the floor and let you get in here, because this is just like we could go back and forth all day. So come on, Nick, jump on in here, because you have some background in finance and investing and things like that too, right, Nick?
Yeah. And I was actually going to say first, I was remiss for leaving that part out of Portia's introduction, that she is a money mindset coach also. I don't know how I forgot to mention that. So, but you all naturally spoke that up and addressed that. And the mindset is definitely important. Any program that is doing the right thing and doing the right thing by people, before they tell you to put your money into a specific type of investment, they're supposed to address the mindset first and kind of gauge what your mentality is towards money. So that's the foundation of everything. Before you even decide if you're going to go into real estate, crypto, whatever, what is your mindset about money, and what is your risk tolerance too? That's something else that my company that I work with, we assess our clients on. But yes, Portia actually has engaged with our company and our project in Zanzibar, a real estate project, building abroad in Africa. So I'm not the person with the extensive finance background, but I do have a foundation in it, just based on what I picked up and what I learned over the past few years working as a business manager for the 7 spheres of money. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the mindset, and we're going to talk about the book. So I guess my question would be, with all these different options out here, investment vehicles, why crypto specifically? And I guess that can kind of transition us or lead us into discussing, what led you to writing the book, from fiat to digital.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because why crypto? Why? Well, the reason is because this is the future, ladies and gentlemen, right? This crypto, right here, the Bitcoin. Um, we're going from these dollars, like I put on the illustration, to these little coins right here. These gold coins illustrate the crypto, right? The Bitcoin specifically. Because our economy, and I don't know if you guys pay attention to what's going on in the world and how the economies are teetering, and how the dollar has basically plummeted as far as value, and the fact that our dollar is not tied to anything, meaning that all it's tied to is the good faith of the United States of America, right, in this government. And you already know you can't really trust the government at the so when they removed the gold standard, our money no longer had value. The thing about cryptocurrency is the fact that you can't just keep printing, right? There's not only going to be a finite number of Bitcoin ever mined. So that means that it's always going to have, I think that number is like 21 million. There will only be 21 million Bitcoin ever in circulation. And we're getting close to that number, y'all. And that's the reason why we saw Bitcoin hit 100,000 at the end of last year, because we already know we're getting to the point to where we're about to tap out. Now, the beautiful thing about that, though, is that it would always hold value. So that means that we would, if you ever hold a piece of Bitcoin, it will always have some type of value. Now, of course, it's not intrinsic like gold, because I know people like their precious metals like silver and gold, and I'm a big advocate for that too. If you can get you some gold and some silver, that's even better, because now you have something tangible, right? And then they have ways that you can invest in gold and silver through trust and all kinds of stuff, by gold backs. So there's many ways to get to your gold and silver without you actually having to have the physical metal. But I digress. The thing about crypto is the fact that that landscape is ever expanding. You have more countries, more states and local governments that are adopting crypto as far as payment goes. And when you start to see the government entities start to adapt this system, then you already know what time it is, right? I don't know why we can't see the writing on the wall sometimes, even though it's in black and white, of how things are getting ready to shift in this landscape. Technology is the order of the day, right? All this AI technology that's coming out right now, it's unfortunate that it will replace people's jobs, but I look at it as a beautiful thing, because now it frees you up to do what it is that you wanted to do, right? A lot of people are stuck in jobs that they never wanted to work in the first place. So if you're in a position where your job may be phased out because of technology, well, guess what? Maybe you get to collect a little unemployment check while you figure out what it is you're trying to do in your business venture or whatever it is that you want to create. Because we have so many opportunities at our fingertips right now that these old antiquated ways of being are starting to fade away. And a lot of people like to hold on to what was and not embrace what is, because what is the fact that cryptocurrency is not going anywhere. It's going to start being the government reserved as far as what we based our finance system on. And we're not going to be the first country to do so, right? Because we have other countries. I think El Salvador is one of them. It's a couple of other countries now that they have adopted Bitcoin as their national reserve for their country. So, I'm trying to wake up people. And I know I wrote this book for the 40-year-olds and people a little older, but actually this book serves for everybody, because if you're struggling with learning new things, new concepts, then my book actually ties into that, because it's not just a book about crypto. It's about a book about reframing your mindset and being able to shift your perspective in such a way where the learning becomes second nature and easy to you. Because if you look at it, let's think about how time works, right? They've already proven, well, Einstein being one has already proven that time doesn't work in a linear fashion the way that we think it does. We already know that in a quantum fashion, everything is happening right now. So that means that if you pursued learning crypto, then that means you've already done it before, right? From a future perspective. And so you really need to look at it from a future perspective, like, okay, I've learned how to do crypto and, invest in DeFi. And I've learned, what a DEX is, and what a central exchange is, all this stuff. I've learned this before. But how did I learn that? And look from a backwards perspective of, you've already accomplished that, then your mind is going to lead you to the next right step, right? To get you into that future that you see yourself in already. And that's really what it's about, because again, I call myself a thought analyzer, because it's all about your thoughts about a subject and how you feel about it. Like how people say, "Oh, I've always been bad at math. I've always got poor grades. Oh, math, I always struggle with math." And guess what? The reason why you continue to struggle with math is because you keep saying you're struggling with math, right? If you reframe that and say, "You know what? I may not have been the best with math in the past, but I am improving every day, right? I'm getting better with math, right? I'm learning to add or subtract, multiply, whatever it is, right? A lot easier now." So you want to put yourself in a light where anything is possible, right? You can achieve whatever it is you put your mind to, and that is really the truth. Because if you think about it, a lot of the stuff that we use today, look, your laptop, your monitor, the lamp that you have on your desk, whatever it is, that was all in somebody's mind at first, right? And they didn't know that whatever they were thinking of or trying to invent or create was going to help people in the future. But what you do now may help someone in the future. And so we need to think about things on a broader perspective, because if you learn how to use cryptocurrency, learn the lingo, learn the different systems that are out there, how many other people can you go on to help with that and help us, right, as a community get up on the global scale? Because this is our opportunity to capitalize on wealth. I don't know if a lot of people understand what is happening right now. There's so many tools, so many techniques at your fingertips right now that either are AI based or crypto based or whatever it is, right? But people are easily making money because they have learned to embrace this new technology. And I just want others to do so as well.
Yeah.
You know, thank you so much. And you know, I'm sitting here and I am teetering between asking you about old things and then asking about new things. So if I may just backtrack a little bit, please be patient with me.
No problem.
Because I feel like a lot of people can resonate with this, what I'm about to say. One of the things you said at the beginning about a money mindset is that it's passed down, much like religion. And
Mhm.
so I want to, if I may, be able to jump over there. Everybody that know me know I'm God girl. So you know I'm gonna have to ask these questions because this is part of what shaped and framed my ideas about money. So again, like I said, my mom was an accountant. My mom was about, if you were gonna buy something, you buy good quality so it'll last a long time. Let me just say that she wasn't a cheap person. My mother was very wise, and I believe that she was ahead of her time, especially in our community, because she was talking about things a lot of times that her friends didn't. And my mom had a lot of passive income. Back in the day, you know, women used to do Mary Kay, Avon, Popular Club, all of these different things. So my mother always Tupperware. She always had some money going on the
Mhm.
side. But you know, from a child's perspective, we're looking at it like she doing this because every time she get a dollar, daddy is spending his money. But shifting forward on our journey in religion, it was taught that, you know, money is the root of all evil, right? Money is the root of all evil. A rich man can't make it to paradise. You know, it's easier for a camel to get through the hole of the needle. And then we had people in my era, like poor righteous teachers, come out and then say to you, "Look, nope, this is not the wealth. This is the wealth." So I think for many people, the mindset shifts back and forth between some of the negative experiences and some of the trying to evolve, because we did begin to learn that money wasn't the do all say all, that it was just energy. However, a lot of us at that point had become to the point where we either detested money or it was just like you need all the money. Now many of the groups and organizations that were um, proactive in our community, we're talking about things like you can't raise a nation without money, and you know you can't do these, you know, humanitarian type things without money. And so I believe that a lot of that began to change, but at the same time it still was like a dirty word. it was like everybody you saw with money was not doing with money what they could, because if it was that easy, we would be saved, quote unquote. Because I know that we have enough people that look like us with billions of dollars, millions and billions of dollars, that if 20 of them got together and decided they was going to do XYZ, it could change the full dynamic of what we have going on. So my question to you, or my space I'd like to go in right now is, when changing this money mindset and showing people that the future is things like crypto, how do you move them past the fear, if you will, of 1 minute is there, the next minute is gone? And not only that, not getting caught up in a system that then will corrupt you or make you then want to stand apart. Because I know a lot of people who didn't have money, I won't name no names, and they became really famous, and all of the things they said they wanted to do, they never did. And so it's like, oh, well, if I get money, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then they get the money and they run off and they hoard in the corner. So, how do we get the people to really not only invest, change their own minds, invest in their own selves, but begin to change our future, if you will, like you said, which is the now, with ourselves and with our youth.
Yeah, that's a good question, because this also goes back to my point with people winning the lottery, right? And being broke within the next, what, 4 or 5 years, even though they've won millions of dollars in the lottery, right? Life-changing money, right? You would think that these people would be set for life, and yet here they are, house going in foreclosure, cars being repossessed. And you're like, wait a minute, didn't they just win the lottery? Because it's all about the mindset, right? And your worthiness, right? Do you feel worthy to have this money? Because a lot of us say, hey, I want $1 million, but do you really feel worthy to have that $1 million?
Mm.
And think about this. If you had the $1 million, how would you feel today? If you had the $1 million in your possession right now, how would you feel? Right? Some people feel frightened, right? Because having that burden of having to take care of all that money and figure out what to do with it and manage it and all that. So that's what I'm saying. Things are easily said than done, because people always go around talking about they want that $1 million, but on a subconscious level, because that's what we're dealing with. We're talking about subconscious actions here, unconscious actions, because it's not in your forefront. You actually have a fear of being able to manage that type of money. So that's what I'm talking about. It's about getting to the root cause of what is keeping the money away from you. Or even if you attract the money, what kind of habits do you have to maintain it? Because again, if you win the lottery, you're going to need to hire somebody to help you manage that. And it's all about, making sure that you set yourself up for the future that you want for yourself. And I don't think enough of us think about the future. We just look at what's going on now and what's happening now, but we don't think about, okay, where am I going to be 3 months from now? Where am I going to be 6 months? Not even where I'm going to be. Where do I want to be 3 months from now? Where do I want to be 6 months from now? It's not about where you're going to be, because you can direct and control the energy that flows in your life in a certain direction to where you can manifest whatever it is that you want to see yourself have in that future that you look forward to. So for me, it's better to take it in 3 months increments. Look at, okay, so if I'm trying to start a real estate business or a real estate investing business, I need to figure out what does that take, and then see myself in in the future being successful with that business, but then also working backwards. Okay, so what steps did I take in order to have that success? And then write down those tasks. And remember, success is gained through small actions every day. On the days that you don't feel like doing nothing, just work on it for 4, 5 minutes, right? That 5 minutes will probably turn to 30 minutes. But all I'm saying is, because we always, unfortunately, a lot of humans, we're emotionally driven, and we have to take emotions out of our goals, right? If you are looking to achieve a certain goal and you see yourself a certain way within a certain time frame, then those emotions are going to have to go out the window. You're going to have to basically take daily actions in order for you to get to the next step that you're trying to get to. And whatever those actions are, right, depends on whatever you're trying to accomplish. Now, I'm going to tell you now, it's not easy at first, especially being an adult, because our brains have been wired to go one way for so long. And that's why, it is sometimes best to have a coach, a mentor, or either listen to a podcast, a YouTube channel, whoever it is that's giving you inspiration to stay on track and that motivation for the day, right? Because if you don't have the money to afford it. And I also tell people, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, don't just go throw your whole paycheck in investment in crypto thinking it's going to turn right a dollar into $1 million, because it doesn't work like that. I'm not trying to give anybody false hope, right? But a little goes a long way. So even if you're just able to invest $5 every paycheck, right? That $10 compounds over time, and you're gonna see that grow, not only from the amount that you keep putting in, but from the amount that is gaining from the investment that you made. And so that's what we want to do, right? We don't want to take big steps because big steps sometimes are overwhelming. Small steps that get you just there just as good. So working with making sure you're taking the right actions and questioning how you're feeling, what you're thinking, and are you focusing on the right things? Because sometimes we get caught up in the wrong things. And if you're trying to achieve a certain goal, like it's a financial goal, let's say you want to have $10,000 by the end of 6 months, whatever that is for you. Well, me thinking about my ex and the past and our divorce and all that stuff, how's that helping me get to my $10,000 goal? You see what I'm saying? So we really need to sit there and think about, why am I thinking this thought? How is this thought helping me? Is it serving me at all in this moment? Is it helping me achieve the goals that I'm trying to accomplish? And if it's not, toss that thought to the side because it's not important. Our brain is wired for drama. So a lot of times we get caught up in life drama, and it stops us from achieving the goals that we are trying to set for ourselves. And guess what? Nobody's getting any younger. And a month goes by, 6 months go by. Next thing you know, it's a year. Then you look up, it's a whole decade, right? I remember when it was 2015. I know y'all do, right? Don't y'all? I remember 2015, but shoot, now that's 10 years ago. Wow, right? 10 years ago. So whatever you was looking to do in 2015 that you haven't accomplished now, how do you feel? Right? And how does it make you
Mm.
feel now if you don't, right? Another 10 years passes by and you don't accomplish that goal. It's all about you bringing in your feelings and your emotions, because if that goal, if you didn't accomplish it in 2015, 10 years later, you still haven't done it, how does that make you feel? If it's making you feel bad, then maybe we should write down some steps to help you achieve that goal in a short amount of time to help you get there. And then you see yourself in the future and reframe any challenges, because challenges are opportunities for growth. I think a lot of us, and this is where it came from, really, it came from school. When you made an F or a D, it was frowned upon, right? And so from there,
Mhm.
you didn't want to mess up, you didn't want to fail. So we bow down when it comes to challenges now, because we cowered, because we don't want to look like we're failures, right? When we're not up to the challenge. But that's an opportunity to grow, right? It's an opportunity to get better. So whatever challenges come your way, overcome that. Now, I can tell you now, your brain, just like Ruth said, is going to try to suck you back into the past, because that's what it's familiar with. That's what it's comfortable with. It doesn't know this new you yet. It doesn't know these new habits yet, right? These are new things that you're trying to do and acquire, and you haven't yet just registered in your mind. That's perfectly fine. That is called the lag time. There's going to be some lag time, y'all, right? There's going to be a gap between who you are today and who you're trying to become. But what
Mm.
you do to fill that gap is to take the actions that are going to get you to who you want to be, right? In that future that you've already designed for yourself. And that includes learning crypto, any type of new technology, any new skill in general, right? If you think about it, when you first learned how to ride a bike, I talk about this in the book. You fell off the bike, I'm sure, a few times, but that didn't discourage you. You got back on the bike until you learned how to ride it. And now you get on the bike, even if you hadn't rode one in years, it's like second nature, because now it's in a subconscious program. Um, and I also talk about
Mhm.
this situation too. A lot of us will let little life things come up and stop us from achieving our goals, but it's just like when you get a flat tire. Let's say you leaving work and you're driving home and you get a flat tire on the way home. Are you gonna say, "Oh man, I got a flat tire, now I'm not going home"? Well, I'm not going home 'cause I got this flat tire, right? Nah, what you do? You get the flat tire fixed and you go home. So we need to start treating our goals the
Mhm.
same way. And that's all it is, right? It's about you not letting little obstacles overcome you, because guess what they do? they drive your passion even more. So welcome the obstacles, welcome the challenges, because that's your opportunity to grow.
Mhm.
The-
Wow, wow. You see, this is
Mhm.
why she calls herself a thought analyzer right
You
there.
know, I was just thinking about that thought analyzing thing. I was just thinking about that too, Nick. We on the page. You
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
know,
Yep, yep.
just in a little bit of levity. You know, I laughed when you said about the flat tire, and I
Hmm.
thought about what you said with the mind frame. Some people don't want to go home.
Right. They don't want to go home, so they use that flat tire to hang
They
out.
be
Right.
like, "Woo, I got this flat
Yeah,
tire.
right.
I ain't even trying to go home. I'ma just go on back over here where I was." You know, I am loving this conversation because you're touching on so many things that I think a lot of us think about. You know, and with the cryptocurrency, what I can say, and even with the investing, what I've heard my peers say, especially the ones that had a similar background like mine, a little bit of the financial struggle, living, you know, paycheck to paycheck,
Mhm.
um, is when things seem too good to be true. So, can you talk to us a little bit about changing the mindset about things like that? You know, is that something you work with your clients with in changing their mindset about being actually afraid to, like you said, mess up, to make a mistake, you know, to
Mhm.
get that F, to get that D, knowing that people are relying on you. You have, you know, some of us take care of elderly parents, some of us, you know, have children, grandchildren, things like that. So can you talk, does that something that you cover when you work with your clients about changing their mindset and thinking about that thought, those thoughts that may be hindering them?
Yeah, for sure, Rue. I appreciate that because you're right. A lot of us have a fear of failure, and some of us have a fear of success, right? Because I had a fear of success. I felt like if I was successful, I had to maintain it. People going to want things from me. Like I just had this whole notion of what success was when I had to redefine it for myself. And when we're talking about failure, there's this book I forgot who wrote it. I think it's John Maxwell called "Failing Forward." See, in school, we're taught that failing is bad. Failing is horrible, right? You're ridiculed. You're made a mockery of. The teacher calls you out when you fail, right? And so we feel like when we fail, that's like the worst thing to do. It's so traumatic because if you experience that in class and all the kids were looking at you, it was a traumatic event, right? And you don't want to relive that trauma, so you stay out of failure zone. But I have to tell you, failure is part of life. This is how we learn. And I'm going to tell you now, any new thing that you endeavor, you're going to fail. I'm going to be honest, 100%. It's just like it goes back to when you learn to ride that bike. Did you get on that bike and you were just straight and you were just riding? No, you failed a few times, right? You actually fell off the bike, probably scraped your
Mhm.
knee, whatever that situation was, but you were
Mhm.
determined to learn how to ride that bike. So at the same time, we need to bring that same determination into learning something new because failing is only feedback, right? Failure is only feedback. Failure allows you to say, hey, okay, well, I didn't do so well this time around. Let me take a look at where I may have made some mistakes and see, can I correct that? Or let's see what I didn't learn right on this lesson plan, and shore up that knowledge so next time I take this test, I can pass it, because that's all it is. Failure is feedback. And so we need to start looking at failure as feedback, and because it helps us in growing and learning where we made some possible mistakes, correct those mistakes moving forward and try to get a different result, right? When they asked who was that invented the light bulb? Thomas Edison, right? Hey, all right, it took him 1,000 tries, and they was like, oh, well, how do you feel about failing 1,000 times? He was like, no, I found 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb. I mean, that's really that's really what happened, right? At the end of the day,
Right.
anything that you endeavored, you're going to fail on. And that's fine, right? Because everything has a process. And if you go back to the natural laws, which is the law of rhythm, right? You continuously do something, you're going to get better at it, right? It's just like when water continues to drop, right? Drip in one spot. Eventually, it's going to cause a wear and groove in that spot that it's dripping at, but it's slow and it's steady. So small actions are what make up the big results, right? And again, just like I went back to the fact that a lot of us would be like, oh, I would love to lose weight and work out, but then I'm too tired or this and that. And you don't do those things. But what if you just said, okay, well, I am a little tired. So maybe today I'm just going to do 5 minutes of ab work. or maybe 5 minutes on, lifting the weights, or maybe just go for a 10-minute walk, right? It doesn't have to be these big grand gestures. And I think that's where a lot of us fail at as well, because it's either go hard or go home. No, you don't have to go hard or go home, right? Just start small and work your way big, because it's the small things that add up to the bigger results. And if we can just look at it from that perspective, then failing doesn't seem so bad, because you're going to make mistakes, you're going to fail. That is part of the human journey. This is how we learn. It's just a response to your environment and whatever results that you have from whatever action you take, right? And then if you take the results, look at it, that's your feedback. It may be failure, maybe success. And that's another thing. I think people rest too hard on success, because yeah, you may have learned something, but at the end of the day, don't just rest your laurels on that success, right? Go for the next great thing that you're trying to achieve. Just don't stop there, right? Because life is ever evolving. It's a process, right? We're always changing. We need to constantly upgrade our knowledge about stuff.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. All those concepts remind me of the book Atomic Habits by
Yeah.
James Clear. Yep. Yep. It's about showing up consistently, rather than, like you said, going big or going
Right.
home. Yes. Yep. Yep. So, and you mentioned the example with the bike riding, and you mentioned that from your book. So, Roo, do you have any other questions before we talk about the book? Because I'd love for Portia to give us a overview of the book. How it's laid out from the first chapter to the end, and we can discuss and build on that for a few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I had already had a list of questions, and then I got up early this rise and I was thinking about some new ones. And now, even listening to you, Portia, you are so amazing. And I want to take this opportunity to have Nick make sure that he puts your information down at the bottom. Let everybody know that your information is there. You can work with this wonderful mindset coach, because this last question I'm going to give before we move into the book, because I you know what, I'm going to admit I peeked in the book a little bit. I know this is unread, but I peeked in just a tiny bit because I needed to just I'm so excited. But the last question I'd like to ask about mindset, and that's why I want to make sure to put your information there so people can get on this mindset changing kind of thing, shifting our mindset, is what do you say to the client that says to you, well, I don't want to be rich. I just want to be able to make this amount of money, because they're measuring their success. Because again, we measure success where we measure success. Some people's success is being able to just pay the rent every month. And some people's success is being able to buy a Mercedes every year. So what do you say to the person that says, I'm comfortable, I just want to make this amount of money, and I don't want to do anything else?
And that's fine, right? All of us are not here on a grand mission. I think sometimes when people on their spiritual journey, they feel like it has to be this big grand mission, right? We got to go save the world kind of mentality. When maybe your mission is just to be a good mother to your kids and raise them right, right? It could be something as simple as that. So I don't ever push millions of dollars in that concept on people, because you're right. People are where they are and they're comfortable where they're at. Then why should they change anything if that's where they want to be? And I'm totally 100% with that. But also, when you go to God with a thimble, he's only going to give you a thimble full.
Woo!
And I come behind you with the bucket and I get a bucket full. You're like, wait a minute, I don't get, well, you bought the thimble, right? So you're only going to get as much as you think you're worth, and how much you think you can get, how much you think you're worthy to receive. And so that also goes back to your self-worth. Do you think you're worth more or less, right? Because God says you're worthy of all the kingdom has to offer. And the kingdom is abundant in riches, right? And if you're cutting yourself off of that supply just for a mentality of feeling that I'm not worthy to have it, then we need to address that, right? Because everybody is worthy of abundance. But if you're in a, what I'm saying? But if you're in a good place and you feel like you are worthy and this is all you need to get by in life, then that's great. That is 100. And I don't mind working with people on that mindset either, because at the end of the day, we are all shifting to trying to be better people, no matter what our bank accounts look like at the end of the day. And the thing about it is, when it comes to life, If I ask you right now, Rue or Nick, how much you got in your bank account, you can go pull up your online app and you can see. But if I ask you how many more minutes of life do you have left, what app you can check for that? Right? Where online you gonna find
Right.
that at?
Ooh,
Right?
girl.
And so that's
Right.
why time is so much more important than money. So I also want to teach people that we need to free yourself from that time restriction, which can be a job, and learn to enjoy life on a more time-based method of life. Right?
Yes. Thank you for that reminder.
Mhm.
Thank you for that reminder. What a beautiful, beautiful
Mhm.
reminder at this point. So I'm with Nick. Let's talk about this book. Let's talk about how people can get this book. What you already let us know what inspired you is because you feel like this is where we need to be moving towards. But
Yes.
give us a little bit more. Tell us about these chapters, because big them chapters. I told you I took a little peek. They was popping. And I'm just like, yes, I'm loving this. So tell us
Yes.
about this book, Miss Portia. How do we get to where we are right now with this book?
Well, the book
Yeah.
itself, I think I wanted to blend a concept of overcoming mindset, but also learning, the basics of crypto with it. And that way you can learn as you basically overcome whatever limiting beliefs that are blocking you from achieving this goal. So the reason why I use the title from fiat to digital, because it really is upgrading your mindset to shift to an old way of being to a new way of living, right? And using this technology. So you really are going from having dollars to digital, right? That's what fiat means. Fiat means the fiat currency system that we're currently under to this digital system that opens up a plethora of opportunity for everybody, because not only does it expose you to, yeah, investing in crypto. I know that's all that people know, but what about becoming your own bank and self banking? Yes, this platform does allow you to do that, because remember, the whole reason why Bitcoin was created was because people were fed up with the current financial system. The creator of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, nobody really knows who this person is, right? But there's a white paper out there explaining how he created Bitcoin and how it can be replicated. So when he created this system, he wanted to get away from, or he or she wanted to get away from the old way of financial system, which gives power to the people and self-banking, meaning that you now are able to deposit your own money. You can lend your own money out. You can make the interest from those loans, right? What bank is allowing you to do that? Right? I don't hear nobody saying anything, right? There's no bank, right, that I know of in a traditional system that's going to allow you to do those things and make money from the interest from a loan. So we need to start thinking of this new system as something more than just, oh, buying a few coins and hoping they grow up. No, it's about investing the money, self-banking, and then making sure that you set yourself up for a brighter future, because there's a lot of ways of looking at this. There's new projects that are coming out all the time. And depending on what the project is, it may be something that you may want to get in on a pre-sale, right? So there's so many different ways to make money with fiat. I mean, sorry, with crypto, and all you have to do is learn how to get into the system. So this book really gives you the basics, right? The building blocks. I'll talk about blockchain technology, because that is the technology which basically and ultimately that the foundation for these altcoins. So Bitcoin is not on it has its own platform, right? But what blockchain technology and where it came from is when Ethereum was built, right? And that's when we came up with smart contracts and being able to do things on the blockchain, also create NFTs, which are non-fungible tokens. So all that evolved with Ethereum, which is what we call an altcoin. An altcoin is just a coin that's not Bitcoin, right? So any coin that's not Bitcoin is considered an altcoin. And I kind of touch about that in this book, but I don't go into a whole lot of detail about, the different coins and whatnot, because the book is more centered around you upgrading your mindset to even shift, right, to being comfortable with even learning this new technology. Because the technology is not going anywhere. We need to learn how to embrace it. And the only way that we can do that is if we have to change our perspective about it. So the book talks about the history of traditional financing. It talks about also why Bitcoin was created, which I just mentioned, right? It happened in 2008. You know what happened in 2008? It was the financial system, right? We had that big financial meltdown, and this was the answer. And also, the book also talks about reframing thoughts and limiting beliefs. It actually is interactive, meaning that there's work to do in the book, right? I actually have a page where I have a negative belief and you need to reframe it. In the back of the book, I have journal prompts that will help you shift into learning crypto by just, navigating your thoughts about it and your emotions towards it. So, also touch upon the volatility of the crypto market. Remember, this when you're investing in something, there's going to be some ups and downs, right? So we need to make sure that you are aware of that and emotionally brace for that. Because again, you need to take the emotions out of it. And that's why I tell people don't invest your paycheck, your last paycheck into this if you're living paycheck to paycheck, because emotion is going to be all up in that, right? Am I going to have enough money to pay my bills? And right, you're going to be pushing it away from you rather than bringing it in. And
Mm.
so the book is basically telling you how you can start investing, right? Like Rue talked about mistakes. I already told you mistakes will be made. So you need to start small, small with your investing, right? If you can stand and lose $5, invest in $5, right? Get started somewhere. It doesn't have to be $1,000 or $50,000. Doesn't have to be that big. Remember, start where you are, right? And if you're in a small denomination of money, then that's fine. Only invest what you can stand to lose, especially in the beginning while you're learning. But you have to put some money into it in order to learn. The book is only going to get you so far, right? You still have to take the steps and the actions in order to learn how to use the systems. And so that segues into my course because I actually created an online course. I did a live class, The Basics of Crypto. And so I that course goes along with the book because the course actually will get you more information, right, on the basics of crypto, talks about the different wallets, the different types of exchanges. It talks about how to protect yourself online when you are doing transactions with crypto. You definitely want to use a VPN. Make sure you're safe and make sure you verify your wallet address before you send the money over to another wallet because if it goes to the wrong wallet, guess what? You lost your money, right? So we want to make sure that you start off in the proper way. Take those steps that are necessary to learn, but start small, right? If that's $20 for you, if you can stand to lose $20 if it happens, then good, right? You can walk away and not have any emotion involved in that. But if you're putting your whole paycheck in there, hoping it's going to pay you off, and you know that's all the money you have for the month, you don't have rent money, then you're going to have emotions involved in that because you don't know when your next meal or your next rent or your next dollar is going to come in to pay your rent. So that's what I'm talking about.
Thank you so much for that. And that was one of the things that I loved about the book was that it was not only a book talking at you, but a book allowing you to work through and walk through and things like that. And it actually brings me to your table of contents because when I was looking through now, then mind you, I'm looking through for the first time. I haven't seen this book before, so I'm looking through for the first time, and I'm looking at chapter 1, chapter 2, and when I got to chapter 6, and it was upgrade your thinking and limiting beliefs. The first thing I thought to myself was, shouldn't that be chapter 1? But then I thought about it, and I said, well, if this is a woman that's a mind melder, like a woman who goes in and she's mining your mind, you know what I mean? So first we need to dig up all the things that you already think you know about money, all the fears, all the everything, because we can't start talking about reframing it until we know what you actually think, and until we know what scares you, till we know what's keeping you from moving to this next space. So I really love the way that the book is set up. And everybody know I love to learn. So the fact that it's a workbook too and goes along with your course and everything else, it speaks directly to what you said is you are now the currency, Portia. Like this book is the book, but you are the goal. You are the gold standard that is behind this, your brand. And I think that's just amazing. And I am fascinated. And as a person who has I'm one of those moms who I have very progressive children. My youngest just turned 27. So, you know,
Wow.
they've kept me in this forward thinking kind of mindset with my grandchildren and the things they teach them and all that stuff like that. And so I have tried investing, you know, here and there, but again, part of my mindset is not to end up a gambler like my dad. Now I have family members who love gambling. I will only play the picket like one time a year, you know, and then when I lose, I'll be like, whoa, that's 50 cents gone, you know, and I was just like, but I really love this and I love the outline. And I'm looking forward to doing the course myself because again, you know, it takes that reinforcement, that consistency to be able to, every time those stinky thoughts come up, be able to, you know, remind yourself, I'm in the now and this is what I'm doing now. And this is securing my now and my future. So, you know, your contribution, just, you know, I'll end up saying it again, but thank you because I love the outline and I love the fact that when I got to chapter 6, I was looking and I really asked myself that question, shouldn't it be first? And then I was like, no, it wouldn't make sense to be first until we know what we're afraid of, until we know the things that are keeping us back and, you know, and restricting our thoughts. And so you are truly a mastermind and I'm here for all of it. I'm here
Oh,
for,
I love it.
and let me just say too, I'm a water bearer, so I want all the money pouring in, and I want to be able to continue to pour all the money out. So let's get her, you know, and catch a little
That's
bit on the
beautiful.
side for myself, you know.
Yes, yes. I love it. And you're so right. You know, we are the masters of our destination, and our thoughts are the key to everything that we're trying to manifest. And in the book, I talk about how thought forms your reality. Now, we can do this. Let's practice this. Look, I want you guys to both hold both your hands up like this. But in your right hand, I want you to envision a nice juicy red apple in your right hand, right? Right. I want you to look at that apple, look at your right hand, know that apple is there, right? Just how juicy and red that apple is. We know that that apple's in your hand, right? Keep staring there for a few minutes. Now, what I want you to do now is actually weigh both hands. Weigh both hands. Do you feel something more in your right hand? Right? If you weigh both hands, you probably feel a little something more in your right hand than you do your left, right? Because your
Yes.
thought forms your reality. Now just cut disintegrate. Just clear your hand off, disintegrate, right? Now they both should feel about the same now. And so
Yes.
that's one of the exercises that I have in a book because your thoughts form your reality. You were just thinking there was an apple in your hand, right? And the reality is, even though there's no apple there, you actually feel like something in your hand because of the reality of the thought. And when you stay in certain thought forms, right? Because everybody has thought forms, some thoughts you've been thinking for a long time, maybe something that came up new. It's almost like a bubble that's around you, right? Your thought forms actually are like a cloud of energy. They're trapped within your aura, right? That's your energy body. So addressing these certain thought forms gets rid of that cloud that's around you, and you start to bring in, right, that light, that more divinity that is truly you. And so once you go through this process, you will find yourself connecting more on a more spiritual, conscious like level because you're clearing out these old thought forms that have been clouding that energy.
Hmm. I think for all my energy practitioners out there, that we could really resonate with that example because, you know, feeling a weight and learning how to do energy work, you know, on our bodies and things like that are kind of the same. We do some of the similar exercises, so I really appreciate that. And you know, just the constant reminder that the mind is the builder. So I really love that. I love that you are, you know, you keep that theme right in the forefront for us.
Yeah,
And
because
for
it creates your
everybody
heaven and
watching,
hell, right?
right? And for everybody watching, don't forget all of Portia's information is there for you. Please, 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 please reach out because you know I was told one time your friends are like a reflection of who you are in terms of your net worth, and like I need some millionaire friends. That's all I'm saying.
Yes,
I
yes.
need some millionaire friends. I need some billionaire friends.
Right.
Y'all out there, check me out. Mawulisatemple 1 on Instagram. Get
Yep,
at your girl, cause
that's
I
it. Your
need that.
network
I need
determines your
that.
net worth.
Yes, there. That's the
Yeah.
saying. Thank you. Yes, yes. So I need my network to get up there. I need some billionaire friends. There's some travel in my future. I need to go see this resort in Zanzibar. Come on now.
That's what I'm talking
So,
about, right?
I need to get in. I need to get in on that. When you said the REITs, I was like, yes, investments, real estate. So for that, that is a place where I have been fascinated with, but terrified at the same time, because one of the things I'd like to say that I also appreciated was when you initially started. You said to us, look, things are going to happen. I can't make you these big grandiose promises of how things are going to turn out. And I think one of our big problems in our community as a whole has been trust. And then we have people come into these spaces where we know nothing about it, and when we truly throw all of our trust and all of our little coins behind somebody, thinking that this is a person we can trust, and then it all falls down. So for many people out here doing the same type of work that you do, when they make these kind of promises and people fail, they never want to try it again, because
Yeah.
their answer will be to you, well, I invested in this course. I took a year and $15,000, and I mean, people asking for really like a lot of money. So guys, take this special that Portia got going on right now. But people are offering these kind of courses for so much money, and
Mhm.
people are walking away empty-handed and feeling more defeated than ever, because they really thought that in making this 1 or 2 time investment was going to have them living their best life. And I just want to remind people, what you see on the internet, people living these grand lives, sometimes it don't be what you think it is. So having somebody like Portia and Nick and DJ, the people, the brother that Nick works with, and all of our other folk out there who are really sincerely bringing this information, get behind them, support them, and let's really take ourselves to the next level. Like I said, I want friends to travel with. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't want to have to worry about, on this trip, or do I just have a room? So let's up
Well,
our game, folks.
I'm with you though. Education before compensation, and that is
Yes.
really my motto. Because before you invest in anything, you need to learn about what you're doing. I hear so many people who have bought XRP and bought some other coins, but they don't even know where it's stored. They don't even know how to get to it. They don't even know how to convert it back to dollars. They don't know what anything. They're like, oh, I got some coins. I don't even know so you need the basics, right? And so that's that's where I think a lot of us are being failed at, because yeah, there's a lot of crypto gurus and whatnot on YouTube, but nobody's giving people a foundation to build their knowledge from. And so when I taught the actual crypto course, a live course back in November, everybody who took that course like, oh my gosh, now I finally understand. You explained it so well. Now I know how cryptocurrency is mined. Now I know the difference between a meme coin and an altcoin and all this other good stuff, right? We need to know the basics first before you go invest any of your hard-earned cash, right? So my gift and my pleasure was to create this course so that people have something to build from before they go and start investing their money. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you can get screwed over, right? There's so many scams, and I'm not just talking about in crypto, but just in general. There's a lot of scams out there, a lot of fraudsters, and this space offers a lot of opportunity for that. And people will take advantage of you if you don't know what you're doing. Just like there's what's called an airdrop. Airdrops are free tokens that come into your wallet, usually from some type of project or company. But if you didn't initiate that airdrop, meaning you didn't do the things that were required to get the airdrop, and it just all of a sudden appears in your wallet, then that's probably a scam. But how many people, oh, well, somebody gave me 50,000 worth of Ethereum, and they click on it, and then it takes all their money that was in their wallet, right? So these are the things that we need to be cognizant of and aware of, right? And keep ourselves safe before we just jump and dive into a space because somebody made $1 million off a penny, right?
Mhm.
So this is where I'm starting from, right? Education before compensation. This book is a great start. The course will give you an even better foundation, and then you can just start building from there, right? But now you know the basics to start building from.
Yep. Let me pull the website up so we can show the people how to access the
Yep.
course. So again, that website is bloomlife.me. This is the website here on the screen. You're going to
Now
scroll
that's free. That
down.
guide for a growth power of a growth mindset. I highly suggest everybody to download that. That is my free offering because that's what starts you to realize that you do have the power to change your mindset and what the potential is there just by shifting your perspective. So I definitely encourage everybody to download that.
Yep. And then you see the book right underneath
That's
it.
the ebook. If you want a hard copy, it is on Amazon. All you have to do is search by the title of the book or either my name, and it should come up for you to order from Amazon if you want the hard copy. And I didn't make the book long, right? I know that people have limited attention spans these days, right? And I wanted to make sure that I packed as much information into something small, but also give you something that you can, like Roo said, to work through, right? Now you have actually something, a guide to help you work through whatever challenges you are facing.
Right. And then third in line, that would be the crypto course that you're encouraging
Mm-hmm.
everyone to
Mm-hmm.
take. This is the
Yep,
correct one,
that's the
right? Yep.
course.
Okay. Yep, right here. Yep. So you got the book and the course, right next to each other. Actually, 1, 2, 3. There you go, everybody. One,
Right,
two, three.
right, right.
Mindset, growth mindset, the Fiat, the digital ebook, or if you want the physical copy, go over to Amazon, and then the crypto course is right there. So very, very easy to
Yes,
access. Right
Yes.
yes.
there.
I want to
Yep.
make sure that everybody gets the information. And just like I told Nick and Roo, this is February, which is Black History Month. And I really do appreciate our ancestors and the people from the past who have brought us this far. But really, to me, we should rebrand it as Black Future Month. We should be looking at the future. What can we do now to make ourselves part of the history that's going to be now? Right.
Yeah.
So the way that we move
Mhm.
ourselves forward is learning this new technology so we can create better futures for our community as Black people as a whole.
And listen, I applaud that. I
It
applaud
is.
that.
So
This,
that's why I'm
yes,
promoting it heavily for Black History Month, y'all. We need to get there, right? We need to get there because Black Future Month is happening. And we need to be the ones that are read about later. Right.
yes,
We create that history now. So learn about cryptocurrency. Have your family involved, right? The kids can be involved in this. They're going to learn this quicker than probably you are. Just give them the basics. This course is for everybody. It has no age limit, right? I know I said that I really geared towards people who are 40 and over, but at the end of the day, this course has no age limit. It can be for your 5-year-old, right? If they can understand or grasp the concepts.
yeah. One of my sons has my granddaughters very invested in learning things like this. They learned coding and all of that stuff early. They talk to me all the time about investing. Can you
Yeah,
imagine me sitting there listening to my granddaughters like, and so if I do this, and then okay, wait a minute, help grandma out for a
I
second.
love it.
But I love it because you know I see the generational shift. Like, we always talk about breaking these generational curses. It starts
Hmm.
with the one step, the re-education. It starts with finding the root of the problems. And so what your book, and from what I can see so far, is it does help to root out some of those things. Because like you said, we start our education about money early, our relationship with money early. And so, a book like yours being used in a family setting, I could definitely see how it could help the people who already have some kind of mindset and stuck in their ways, and begin to help the young folk be like, it's easier for them. Let's talk about it. the computer age is their age,
It
and
is.
so talking to them about mining and all that kind of stuff. The first time I heard mining for coins, I'm like, wait a minute, we going back in cash? What is we doing? We getting the pickaxes back out again? What the, I'm like, I'm not built for that, Lord.
Right. It's so the lingo, right? Learning the terminology and the
Yes,
lingo and all
learning the
that stuff.
lingo.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I
That's in the
love
book as
that.
well. Yeah, that's in the
Yeah,
book as
I
well.
saw that. I saw that. So again, this is such a great opportunity, and we are, I don't know about everybody else, but I am having so much fun.
Me too.
Now I would be remiss if I did not mention part of my fascination with you. Also, outside of your book, is the fact that you are a numerology guru rising.
Yes.
So, can you talk to us a little bit about your interest in numerology and how it ties to the work that you do with crypto and how you incorporate that in your work with your clients?
Well, you know what? It's one of those things. Numerology, astrology, it's kind of like been part of my life since I don't know when. I started with astrology, then I had a whole lot of naysayers. Oh, that stuff isn't right. I know that, why are you reading this? A whole bunch of bull, whatever, whatever. But I would still read my horoscope, but I never really would hinge my day on it. I'd be like, okay, let me see if certain things are going to happen, or how true it is. But I never would be like, oh, I'm gonna bet this is what's going to happen in my day. But I find it funny how my path started, because a lot of people will be like, oh, when COVID happened, this is when I started getting into this. Well, no, actually, I started getting into this stuff before COVID, right? I remember I took an astrology class back in 2017. And what actually shifted me was around 2018, 2019. I got this, I guess, a download or whatever, like become a life coach, take some life coaching courses, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I didn't know why, because I was like, well, I'm getting into this. And the lady that I taught under, she knew how to do, like, we did hypnotherapy, but she worked with a lot of intuitive based coaching, right? Learn how to read people through your intuition and doing that. And so learning the astrology and then with numerology and mixing in the intuition, it just seemed very natural, right? It just seemed very in sync with what I was trying to accomplish, which was help people. And the only way I can help you is by you knowing yourself, right? And me, by doing that, that's through astrology, numerology, and I do cardology as well. So I love cardology. Actually, that is my favorite of the three. It's something about those little cards that always get me. It's amazing to me how someone sat there and laid all those cards out the way they did. I don't know who did it, but but to me, it's just fascinating how that is actually a true reading for people as well. So it's being able to understand my clients, but not only just on a surface level, but on a spiritual and an intuitive level. And the way that I do that is by finding out what their numbers are, how that impacts their life, what cycles they're going through right now, money cycles. I do have a money cycle consultation. If you on my page there, if you want to get that done, and that way you can figure out what cycle you're in with money, because we all have ups and downs. During one cycle you may be getting money left and right, the next cycle you're struggling to make it work. So you need to figure out if you're working uphill battle, or if you're going with the flow, right? So we need to look at these things. And just because the money isn't flowing now doesn't mean it never will. It just means that you're just at a standstill, or it's coming in slower at that point, right? And so we just need to look at what's happening around you as far as your cycles with numerology. And then also maybe mixing a little bit of cardology if I need to. But that's really where it boils down to, is just really understanding people on more than just a surface level, getting to know who they are on a deeper level, and whether that's through their spirit and through the patterns of numbers.
Yeah. Know how we
Yeah,
do.
it's just learning.
How we
Yeah,
do.
learning, and then it plays so much in your
Yeah.
life too. I mean, the numbers of everything. I mean,
Mhm.
that's the reason why you have a birth date and an end date, right? I mean, and there's a whole bunch of numbers
Mhm.
in between that dash right there. But it
Yes.
all plays a
Yes.
Mhm.
role in your life from day one, right? Because what they do on your birth certificate, they call the time you come in, the day you came in, right? All those numbers factor something.
Yes, they do. They do.
Yeah, they
And it
do.
tells us a
Mhm.
lot about ourselves. I think we missed the, and I know it was deliberate. So, no conspiracy theory needed there. It's deliberate, keeping people separated from their greatness, and sometimes, you say to yourself, you talked about feeling worthy of having in abundance. And you know, sometimes I think, our childhoods, our lives, really do make us think we're unworthy sometimes, or not even unworthy, but just incapable of
Or
reaching these
inferior.
things. One of the things I remind myself of a couple of things when it comes to big money, if you will, is that many millionaires didn't become millionaires till after they was 50. So I'm in the right direction, right? So we moving. So I'm at the 50. So let the millions pour on in. And the other thing, and the other thing was, you know, uh, just allowing ourselves to not feel like we have to get it right every time. Just that, like you said, there are ebbs and flows. And I love cardiology and different, I love all kinds of different, divination tools, because the better you can know yourself, the better you are.
Mm-hmm.
And master teacher, the first time I ever heard anything about, and we talked about this one time before, Nick, about dream books. When I was growing up, my dad, like I said, was a gambler,
Mhm.
so he had a dream book. He would wake us up out of our sleep. What you dreaming about?
Yep.
What color you have on? What street was you on? What was the number?
Yeah. Yep.
And moving forward, you have people who, were strong believers in certain times of year were the best time of year to make money. How many times money passed hands in susus, things like that. So, I really love the fact that you take such a holistic approach towards, helping people, discover themselves, discover their relationships and thoughts about money, and how to move them, into today and into their future to really create legacy. Because I don't think there was ever any one person once that said, I don't want to leave nothing behind. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I can't imagine the person that says, you know what? I'm just gonna leave nothing behind. Now, there are some people who have that mindset. You can't take it with you, so they try to spend it all.
Oh,
But at the same
Mhm.
time, I think, especially for our community, we want to get back to being able to create a legacy, something we can leave behind, something where we can get rid of the fear of not having food, clothing, and shelter, which is, one of those basic human rights,
mm-hmm.
and something that, I think really drives us all. And, just to quickly touch on the word emotion, we always hear in different places, again, knowing the terminology and what area. In many areas they'll tell you, emotion is energy in motion. That's the thing that's getting you going. So you got to be emotional. But if you're emotional about money, you know what I mean? Every time you lose a dollar, you're gonna cry. Every time you got a dollar, you're gonna celebrate. So it's like you really do have to understand how to see this terminology through different lenses. And in this space of crypto and money and things like that moving forward, I think we have to understand that we do have to take a more strategic approach at ourselves and moving forward, and allowing also that natural intuition to come in. So I do again appreciate your holistic approach.
Oh, thank you for that.
Mhm.
And you're right. It's
Sweet.
really about the emotions that actually govern how your life is going to turn out, what your day is going to look like, right? And if you're fearing about not having enough money, because you think about it, there are people who have money that fear losing the money, right? So money doesn't always solve all your problems. And people think that they think, oh, as soon as I get the money, everything will be fine. But then when you get the money, you're so afraid that you're going to lose it.
Yes.
So how,
Mm.
there's different fears that will come up, and that's why I said we really need to feel what it's like to have the $1 million now, right? Before you actually get it, Because if you have a fear of losing it, then when you get it, then that's just going to be compounded. But if you address the fear of losing the money now, before you actually have it, then guess what? You won't have that fear. So if I have a fear
Mhm.
of losing the money, then I'm going to sit there and address, why do I have that fear? Oh, because my father was a gambler and we always were up and down with money. But that's not my life, right? I am grown now. I'm not going through that. And so you really need to address what that is for you, and then say, hey, well, that's not me anymore. Right. And then maybe we can do some NLP techniques to help you move the fear from one place in the body completely out the body, or whatever that is. Right. Because all that is just energy. They may have gotten trapped or stuck within you from childhood. Right.
Absolutely.
And so we just need to move it.
Absolutely. And again, that's why I appreciate your holistic approach. And for all my energy folk listening, my family listening here, you guys, that in shifting ourselves and becoming better, more refined versions of ourselves, we do a lot of that work to go in and find out where energy is trapped at in the body,
Mhm.
how it's affecting our day-to-day lives and even restricting us from being the best version of ourselves. And I can surely see how that would also tie to our finances as well. So,
Yes. And we ain't
Nick,
got to go
let's
through all the emotions either. I wanted to talk about that because I know some
yeah,
people, oh, how did it feel when your father did this? And how did it? Nah, boo,
yeah.
we ain't got to do all that,
We
right?
ain't,
Well,
we ain't
I ain't
gotta
trying to
we ain't gotta
drag you
walk
through the
that down.
mud. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's
yeah.
irrelevant to
We
what's
don't have
going
to
on
walk
now.
that down and relive it. Yeah, we don't.
No, no.
You
See that,
know,
and that's what I'm not about. I'm not having people relive trauma or bad events that happened in their lives. That's not what that's about. What it's about is acknowledging what happened, saying that it served its purpose then, it's no longer needed now. Thank you and goodbye, and help me release this energy.
yeah, like you said, it
Yeah.
helps you learn a
Yeah.
lesson. Like even when you fail, it does help you. You have and again, it is about mindset. It's about allowing something to either suppress you or support you. You know what I mean? And for me, revisiting some of those things sometimes it can be sad, but for the most part, I will let people know I have never taken an L in my life. I've never taken a loss in my life. I have taken every single solitary thing, good, bad, big, small, ugly, and I've analyzed it and made it make sense and made it math to help me to understand who I am right now and definitely who I want to be as I move forward. And I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now.
Yeah, you seem like you're in a
And
good
the
spot in life.
direction and with the direction I'm going in, and I guess especially since just having a solar return and it being one of the bigger ones, as they say, you know, um, realizing that I have changed a lot and my thoughts about things have changed a lot. The fear that I had about money, changed a lot. The fear that I had about people, just being able to trust people to tell me or share with me, something that will either better me or not. Because, like we said, we have a lot of scam artists out there and
Mhm.
they can sense your vulnerability, they can sense your desperation. They can do these things and they capitalize on it,
Yes, they do.
with no kind of, with no remorse. They just like, hey, somebody gonna catch them out there, somebody gonna make them boo boo the fool anyway, so I might as well get their money. But I think what they don't understand is when they do something like that, when you cripple somebody, you usually cripple a couple of generations, because again, these are generational things that we pass down. And so I'm so grateful to be in a
Right.
time where people are really becoming aware of the things that have kept us in a certain mindset, and the fact that we can go in and mine those things that are hindering us, get them out of there and move forward. So
You're
again,
so right.
I'm just so happy to have you here today. And y'all make sure y'all get that information from down there. Take this sister's course, get this sister's books. She gave you a free book. Get in there and get with this sister. I want y'all to know she is putting this special. She got this special for us. You can go in and put a code in unread and get this special. So take advantage of that. And Portia, I will definitely allow you to be able to share that. And Nick, make sure you put that information down in the bottom. So Nick, I can keep on talking. So I'm gonna let you jump on in there.
you know what? When Lloyd Strayhorn was on here, a few weeks ago, well, last month actually, on 111, he said Roo with her talking self. Yeah.
But you know what? That's how I don't get left behind though, because I'm the one with the questions. I am that person. I am not afraid to be like, excuse me, I don't understand. Excuse me, can you help me again? Can you say that again? What do you mean when you say that? I am that, because I really want to know, like, the genuineness and wanting to know something, whether I feel like it applies to me right now or not, just really understanding what it is people are sharing. And this is so important to in so many ways, not just helping a person individually get their self together, make sure they have food, clothing, and shelter, but to help people, like you said, realize and do what it is they really want to do, taking the pressure off of every day worrying about every single dollar. It is a relief that comes with being able to just do what you want to do and spend your time in a way that is, beneficial to your health and wellness and that of the people around you. So thank you so much, because with finance stuff comes a lot of medical stuff too. We don't talk about that enough. And in the healing chambers, we actually do. And I can't wait to get you over there so we can talk about finance and health. But yeah, definitely I'm excited about today. Yeah. I'm excited. And it is a portal day, everybody. It is 2/22/2025. We got our number folks on here today. So I'ma just I'ma just cool off over here, because my questions is still smoking, but I'ma cool off and let y'all bring us a little bit more. And Portia, please feel free to share anything else that you'd like to share with us on our unread Saturn day.
Well,
Well.
Oh, no, were you about to say something?
Oh yeah, no, I was going to go back to the book, because we talked about the content. So you took us through the content. Now our unread book review is for readers, but it's also for authors too, and aspiring authors. So I just wanted you to talk to the people a little bit about the process, the technical process of putting the book together, drafting the book, getting it published, putting it on Amazon, and self-publishing versus finding a publisher, and things of that nature.
Well, yeah, it is a process to get a book written, because I knew the concept, I knew what I wanted to talk about. I wasn't sure how I quite wanted to formulate the idea. So I did ask ChatGPT just for some topics, but other than that, I came up completely with everything that you see here, as far as like the workbook, the exercises, and then also the actual flow of the book. Just like Roo was talking about, I actually took thought in how I wanted the book to flow, because I needed to talk about some things to put people at ease, even about the concept of even learning about crypto, before I could address your limiting beliefs, right? Because first I need to get you to the point where you're understanding what it is first, and then now we can address whatever money blocks that are keeping you from having the success that you want to have in life. Because to be honest with you, time is really the only currency that we have. I know we put a lot of emphasis on money, and money is time, but that's not the truth. I already told you, you don't know how much time you really have. So you as a person, you're what's valuable. So if you can understand that concept, this book can free you of a lot of things, because what it does, it basically says, hey, this is one avenue for you to buy back your time, right? And so when I wrote the book and trying to get it processed, I knew what it is, how I wanted to be written. I knew it, I wanted it to be interactive, right? As far as people being able to use it as a workbook. And actually, I don't think of it as a book. I think of it as a guide. That's the reason why I made it this way, right? I made it to where it could be a guide. It's easily portable, right? You can stick this in your pocket pretty much. It's not that big. And it's something that you can always go back and reference and also see where you are in your journey. Because if you have this book and you did the journal prompts, over the first month, then that means the next month you can go back and read where you were with that and be like, wait a minute, I don't feel that way, or I don't think that way anymore, right? And so we need to be able to go back and reference and have a journal of our progress as we do these types of actions that are going to move us forward to where we want to be. And so I felt like the reframing, the journaling would get people, I guess, a more easier way, I guess, of digesting the information, more so than just reading it. Because when you read something, yeah, it's all well and good to read it, but how well are you retaining it? You only retain things when you actually interact with it and you apply the knowledge.
Right.
Right. So we need
Engagement.
some
Yep.
application. And that was really my forethought with the book, is some way for people to apply the knowledge, because it's no good just to know it. Now, another thing is, when it came to publishing the book, well, first I had a guy from Fiverr. I came up with a concept as far as how I wanted the cover to be to be laid out. But he came up with this, and I told him I wanted it on the black and white background, so I made sure to have that. And I think it's perfect the way the dollars are flowing into what Bitcoin, right, from fiat to digital, so you can actually see the transition. But this is actually a subconscious message, because this is your mind transitioning, right? This is the transition of your mind, the black and white. Those are the conscious and the subconscious mind. So this is kind of like a
Mm.
subliminal
Well,
type of image if you look at it, and that's what I wanted to do by design. Is by you looking at the book, you can actually see the transition and how your mind can actually flow from one state to the other, right, from the white to the
mhm.
black. And that's how your mind will flow through this book, because I'm trying to transition you into another state, right, another way of being. And that's all we're doing is trying to transition our state. And the way we do that is through, it can happen really quickly. People think that, oh, I'm sad and I'm just going to be in this funk. No, you can do certain physiological states that will transition the way that you feel. Like if I'm feeling down and less
Mhm.
confident, well, I'm going to stand up and put my arms on my hips and stand like a superhero, because now I feel confident in that posture. Right. And so all I'm trying
Mhm.
to do is help you
There you
embody
go.
different types of states. They're going to transition your emotions into something that's going to help propel you to where you want to be. Because being stuck
Yeah.
in certain states, whether it's depression, whether it's sadness, whether it's anger, they don't really serve you. Right. And so the book is really a way and a step by step guide to help you transition not only your mind, but also the state of being that you're in, and becoming the person that knows about crypto, at least the basics, right? This book is really just going to give you the
Mhm.
foundation. And then, but it's going to give you the
Basics. Yeah.
confidence to move further on in your journey. So that's the reason. And then
Mhm.
the publishing on Amazon, it was a little tricky to get it published on Amazon, because with Amazon, they will give you your own barcode, but then you can only sell it on their platform. So I went through
Yeah.
ISBN and actually got a barcode,
Mhm.
so I could sell this book wherever. Now currently it's only on Amazon, but I do plan on putting it on other platforms, or either putting it in the library or something, because I know the local library said that
Mhm.
I can just send them a copy and they'll put it in the books on the shelf. So, I mean, I really want people to understand that this book is not just about crypto; it's about you upgrading yourself and your reality, right? Because once you
Mhm.
change your emotion, it changes your state, and that from there, it changes your reality.
Mhm. Yep. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I know Rue, she probably excited again though after that breakdown of the cover, because she got the esoteric art program that she's masterminding, that's going to be coming soon as well. So,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
so
love it.
listen,
I love it.
those companies do it all the time. So why not? Why don't we do
Right,
it too?
right.
They
Oh,
always
I
doing that
love it.
subliminal effects and those
That's
Yes, I
messages
right.
love
in their
it. I
design.
love it.
Yeah.
We are bombarded daily with symbol signs and all of these things. And so to be proactive in making sure that the cover of your book helps to begin to shift the minds. Every time a person looks at that, it's doing what it's doing before they
Yeah.
even open it up. And I love that signs and symbols how we learn a lot of things, and it's a lot of how this world runs. So I'm very excited that you took the time to think about, what do I want people to see? What do I want people to know about themselves when they look at this book and they don't even know they know it, and they don't even know this is happening? I love it.
Yeah.
I love a good subliminal message. You know?
Because that's what it's about, right?
Good ones, not the
Yeah,
bad
that's
No,
what I'm
ones.
saying. That's what it's about. It's about taking what's
no.
conscious into that subconscious, right? It's changing that subconscious reality. And that's the reason why I put the Bitcoin at the bottom in the black, of the subconscious, right? I
You
want
know,
you to program that subconscious.
that, and I love what you said about the showing the money flowing into the coin,
Mm-hmm.
because some, I know for me, I know for me, when I was looking through the book and I was thinking about, my mindset with money and everything, and I was thinking, it was so much easier when people just hid money in cans and mattresses and books. And then I started thinking about how many books I got money in. Those is like my emergency stash, you know what I mean? And it's like, and all I could do was laugh, because I'm saying to myself, well, what am I gonna do when they don't have no more money?
Right, because
Where am I
inflation.
going? Where do I hide the coins? I think that's actually what I want to. That was one of the questions I did not want to, leave unasked. Is
Mhm.
that one of the things I peeked into the book and saw, was where it talked about, this transparency aspect of crypto, and how it puts, you have to help me out here, it
Mhm.
puts everything in public view, so everybody knows what's out there at any given time.
That's
And
right.
so can you help to maybe explain to me, to the audience, we don't always want anybody knowing how much money we got. So what does this new space look like? Is this going to be a space where everybody knows everybody's bank account? Is this going to be a space where just anybody can go in and find your information? We know that there are hackers and all kinds of people out here, and it's some, I would love to have you in the space where we do the esoteric talks about art, because there's been some movies lately that got me looking like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do this. But can you talk to us a little bit about the safety and what people see in terms of this kind of investing and things like that?
Okay, well, yeah, there is a lot of things to be aware of when you're dealing with crypto because it's online. Anything that's online can be hacked, right? So I say this again. Anything that's online can be hacked. Yes, people, that does mean your electric vehicle, right? Is your electric vehicle online? Yes, it is. So, these are one of the things that we really have to be cognizant as we move into this new reality where everything is becoming digital. Because anytime you're exposed online, you are exposed to potential hackers. And let's face it, some of the biggest financial systems and institutions have fallen victim to hackers, unfortunately, and some of our information has already been compromised anyway, right? They don't tell you every time their system gets hacked into. But
Mm-hmm.
what you can do is protect yourself by using a VPN. And when you're talking about this public ledger of transactions, it's on the blockchain, right? The blockchain, that's the reason why it was created, so everybody can see what everyone's doing, but it's not going to have your name. Like, I can't see this is Rue's wallet. I can't see this is Nick's wallet. What I will see is like an address, right? A wallet address, which is your public key, but I don't know your private key, right? So your public key is something like your email address, right? So you'll give your email address out to everybody, but what you don't do is give your password to your email account to everybody, right? Which is your private key. So even though I can see, right, your wallet, if I know your wallet address, I still don't have access to what's in your wallet because I don't have, per se, the password to get to it. So that's the best way I can explain it, right? It's just like email, right? You give everybody your email address, everybody knows that, but people don't know your password to your email, right? So I can't just log into your inbox. So it's the same scenario when it comes to the blockchain and the public ledger that I'm referring to, because that is the whole point of the system. The system was created for the people, by the people, and to be governed by the people, not by the government, right? Who does things in secrecy and shadows, and with the traditional banks who do the same thing. right? You don't know how much your money's being lent out because the bank doesn't tell you, oh, well, we loan, 10,000 of your money to Mrs. Jones last week and we're making XYZ amount of interest. They don't tell you that. Well, at least here in this space, everything is out in the open. People can see what's happening. I've taken a few classes where this guy pulled up Jay-Z's wallet, right? We were able to see what kind of moves Jay-Z was making in his wallet and, what coins he was actually investing in and all this good stuff. But we couldn't get to Jay-Z's money, right? We could see what he was doing, but we couldn't get access to the actual data. Now, have there been times where people have been compromised? Yes. And like I said, there are scammers out there. And that's why I encourage you to use a VPN that blocks your IP address so people don't know how to trace it back to you, right? And to be honest with you, since the crypto game or the cryptocurrency world hasn't been heavily or fully embraced by a lot of governments. So sometimes you'll have to use, especially here in the US, sometimes you'll have to use a VPN address of another country to access certain platforms to do certain things. Like one of them is Polymarkets. Polymarkets is this big betting platform, but instead of betting money, like what they did basically was with the presidential election, you could have voted whether or not you believe Kamala was going to win or Trump. Anybody who voted on Trump, of course, got a nice payout. But they don't allow that kind of betting here in the US, so you wouldn't be able to access that site with a UPN with a US IP address. So you have to use a VPN, right? So there's so many different things. And we were talking about real estate. Real estate is now being tokenized, meaning that now you can own a fractional ownership interest of a property that you may have never been able to do so before. So what they do is they take the title to the property, they put it on the blockchain, and then they divide it out by, I think, per square feet or how much they want to net per coin or something like that. They decide that, and then you buy in, purchasing some coins, and now you have ownership in a property, right? So this is where everything is going to because everything is transparent on the blockchain, and then it's indelible, right? Meaning it cannot be erased, it cannot be altered. Once it's there, it's there. As a matter of fact, California is starting to their DMV is starting to use blockchain technology for other car titles. So once the title record is there, it cannot be altered. So
Wow.
this is what I'm talking about. These institutions are already implementing this technology. We're not late, but you certainly don't want to be any later getting into the game, right? Not everybody's 100% on board with this new technology yet, and it'll probably take a few years before that it actually happen. But you want to front run the masses, right? You want to be ahead of everybody else. You want to be the go-to person when everybody is looking to learn. And this is where I'm trying to set everybody up for success and not failure. Because if you get on board now, now's the time to start learning. Now's the time to start embracing this new way of being because this is where the financial systems are moving into. And as we see with the current sitting president, he has already wholeheartedly embraced the crypto technology because that was his voter base mainly, right? A lot of the voters that voted for Trump was because he said he was going to be the president and allow a lot of the sanctions that were on cryptocurrency to be lifted and regulations to be dropped, right? So we could operate in this country with that new system. So I don't see it going anywhere. So we definitely need to get on board with it.
Yep, that's right. That's right. So you heard it. There it is. It's in the description, but I put it there on the screen to enroll in Portia's crypto course, bloomlife.me, into that promo code UnRead for that discount, that huge discount,
Yes.
might I say.
Yeah, for Black Future
Yes.
Month, y'all, I really want our people to
Yep.
learn this information and maybe not stop there. This crypto is just one piece of the pie, right? There's blockchain technology, which encompasses a whole much more. So if you want to get into blockchain technology, learn how to program with blockchain technology, then take it a step further, right? Because those skills right now are heavily needed in an industry. And if people are worried about, oh, my job being phased out, well, maybe you need to upgrade your skill set, right? And this is not the first time in history that jobs have been phased out. Maybe it's impacting us now because it's happening now. But if you think about it, people were on farms, right? They worked farms. People had large families so they could work farms. Then the industrial age came in. People left the farms for factories, right? Factory workers, were getting sick, injured, killed, whatever. But then after that, the industrial age came along, the digital age, in which which happened recently with our parents, right? And computers started taking over the office. They had to learn and upgrade their skills to work the computer. Oh, I got to learn how to work this computer. Ah, da, 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 right? So this is not the first time in history where the job market or the landscape is changing. You just need to learn to see what trends this trend is headed to, so you can learn the skills that are going to be valuable in the future.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Totally agree. Totally agree. And working in, currently working in the ag spaces, the agricultural spaces, and a lot of people, we are losing a lot of farms. We've gained a lot of new farmers, but we've lost a lot of farmers. And I can just say that those people who have not started to implement ways to upgrade their farming techniques are definitely finding themselves falling behind and not being able to keep up with food production, not only for commercial uses, but even for their own personal. So definitely, always upgrading ourselves. That word I use, refinement, y'all, I use it for a reason, because we are constantly taking what we have and making it better and better and better. And if any people have been known to make $1 out of 15 cents, it is us.
Right.
So
And we're
I
always the one
am
infected economically. We're always impacted first, right? We
absolutely
right. We're always the ones that are always, because white people, well, I'm not so white people, European people, when they have a problem, then we already had the problem, right?
yes,
When it comes to finances.
yes. Thank you for
Yep.
reminding us of that. Thank you. Yes, thank you for reminding us of that. I totally agree. I mean, I don't know, y'all. I can't. Y'all sister can't always see the technology on my side, but I know that those chats have to be flowing and popping. So I'ma just need to make sure that everybody is getting this information. Putting our appreciation for the sister in the chat, and furthering that by working with her and allowing her to help us help ourselves and moving forward, because truly she is genuine and sincere in wanting to do so. It's always an honor to work with somebody that takes so much pride in their work, and I can definitely see that this is something that's not just a fly by night for you. That this is something that you are truly truly dedicated to, and so again we say thank you to you for that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
it's a mission of love, right? That's what it is at the end of the day. And I am genuinely passionate about helping people overcome, certain beliefs that are stopping them from becoming who they need to become. Because at the end of the day, you can't remain who you are, right? You can't become who you need to be by remaining who you are. So we all are called to do certain things in our life. I know I was called to do certain things, Nick, you, Rue, right? Sometimes we ignore those callings because we
Mhm.
don't think we're great enough to handle it. But think about it. God doesn't call on the great. He calls
Mhm.
on the people who can be great, right? And so you can go through that transformative
Mhm.
process because it's all about you leveling up your life and becoming the best version of yourself.
Woo, yes, 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 yes,
Yep.
yes,
Word.
yes.
Yes. Hallelujah. That's right.
Let the church say amen.
Amen. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's right.
I'm gonna give one final question, because I see we could be going. My
Yes,
talking
yes.
self. Thank you,
Yeah,
brother Lloyd. Thank you, brother Lloyd,
please,
for letting the people know that this is not pretend. This is who I am. My talking self. But
yes.
and it goes with my number, which leads me to my question of the day. Today is 2/22/2025.
Hmm.
How can, or what, or let me, better yet, what things would you tell us to kind of be aware of when we going through these different portals, and how it relates to our finance? Should we be sitting down writing out our plans? What steps would you have for us to be taking advantage of some of these amazing numbers that we are seeing on our calendar?
Yes, today is a portal. It's 222, right? So February 22nd, that 22 energy, master builder energy. And what I would say on certain days, this being a portal day, We all know that certain numbers work better with others than some others don't. So if this day is in alignment with you, because 222 actually ease up to a 4, so 22-4. So if that number is in alignment, like if you're not a number 6 person, right, then this day should be good for you. But the significance of the day of it being a 22 is 22 being a master builder has a power to turn dreams into reality. So on this day, you really need to be thinking about what it is that you're trying to accomplish within the next 30 days, because on the 27th we have a new moon coming up, and new moon is a good time to start new endeavors. So this day is the day that you need to start thinking about how you're going to change your dreams into realities, because the energy is there for you to make those transitions. That's what the day speaks of. It's that portal to enter into that energy, to say, to take that imagination and turn it into realization. And that's what the part of the day is. So you do have the potential to turn any big dreams today into your reality, and the fact that it's leading into a new moon even double down on that energy.
Woo. Double down, y'all.
Mhm.
Double down. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know,
you
Yep.
don't
wanted
be
to add to that?
Yeah,
You
the
want to
two
add,
is
Nick? I know
doubling.
22 is your number, so I just
Yes, come
yeah.
on, Nick.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it is my number. So that means it's especially favorable for me. You know, when I put up Lloyd's a Star 8 app, it was a three green star day for me today. Yes. Yeah, so it's a really a positive day. But you know, when we combine it all together, it is it's a 6 universal day, and 6 is that number of balance, family, romance, and finance, of course. So it's no coincidence that we're here talking about finance, and we're talking about how to get the family involved and learning about crypto, and you know, getting our households in order, because we're actually going into a 6 universal week also for family and our responsibilities and duties at home. So we're right in alignment here. So that's all I
And
just
you're
wanted
right.
to
And
add
he's
to
totally right about that. You know, the fact that we are talking about crypto, it's all in alignment with this day. Because again, I'm talking about taking something that you dreamed of doing and making it become reality. I've been talking about your future self, right? And how you see yourself in the next 3 months and whatever that is. Writing down those goals, those tasks that are going to get you to those goals. And all this coming about around the time of the new moon, the timing couldn't get any better, right?
it. Oh, and I forgot to mention, oh my goodness. And it's no coincidence that this is episode 22 of
Well, there you
Unread.
go.
We did not plan.
Where's the mic
We
drop?
didn't
Where's
plan
the
this
mic
out, mind
drop
you.
when you
We
need
started this. Yeah,
it?
I need the special effects going on. But look, we started UnRead Book Review in December of 2023, right? So we weren't counting out the episodes like, all right, episode 1, 2, 3. So by the time it's February 22nd, 2025, that'll be episode 20. No,
Nope.
we didn't do all of that.
Nope.
We didn't plan this out at all.
It's divine. You know, I think that's one of the
Yes.
things that I love
Yeah,
about our
divine timing.
space is, you know, not only the freedom that we have to come here and say, look, I don't know everything, I'm just talking, you know, but the other thing I love is that we don't plan anything. We don't plan anything, but we
Nothing.
always end
Very.
up being in alignment. And I think that's a constant reminder.
Mhm.
As long as you're doing what it is you love, you will always line up with the best version of you and the best success. Because I mean, you go in with the best, as they say, of intentions, but you know, some folks will tell you, you know, good intentions is the road to hell.
Sometimes, but you know
but
what?
what is
She's right on that.
but what is hell but a mind state, you know? And we can
Yeah.
shift our mindsets. So that's what we are here to do today. And I mean, I'm having so much fun that I could just continue on and on and on and on and on. But you know, we're gonna be respectful of our sister time
Can I
because
add
she
one
out here
thing?
doing the work.
Can I add one thing about today?
Absolutely.
With
Absolutely.
it,
Yes.
Yeah.
okay,
Of
so with it
course.
being the 22, you know, 2 is the number of intuition. So that's double down on the intuition today. And that's why I keep saying
Mhm.
whatever innovation, whatever on a grand scale that you want to manifest, it's going to happen today, but you need to be intuitive, right? Ask yourself, what am I being guided to?
Mhm.
What should I focus on next, right? You need to ask yourself these questions so you're not guided by your mind, because sometimes you think logically that's the way to go, but that's not the way that spirit will want you to go,
Mhm.
right? And sometimes we take a longer path than what we
Mhm.
had to take if we just listen to spirit and would have taken a shortcut. So be
Woo.
intuitive today
Mhm.
because of that too. And that's what I wanted to add in, because that two is really the core of what makes up that number. So it's double the intuition, which is in alignment with the moon, that the new moon that's coming up as well. So
Yes, yes,
There
yes,
it is.
yes. I am
Yep,
loving
there it
this. I'm
is.
loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it because it's so much fun and it's so important as well. I'm just really grateful to have Nick bring such amazing people to the platform. Sister, you are welcome here anytime. I want you
I
on like
appreciate that.
I want you in 3 other spaces already. I'm just trying to, I'm trying to keep it right here on unread, but I'm like, I want her to do this and I want her here and I want her here. Because what you're talking about is so universal and it carries over into so many spaces. This book is an amazing opportunity for people to really see what, to take a look at the boogeyman, if you will, because I know for a lot of people, we've struggled a lot, and what few successes many of us have had, with the world changing so fast, you feel like you just don't know how to catch up. I think about, we are sitting here doing a live video. I have lectures on VHS tape. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like
Mhm.
even that kind of transition took getting over a certain kind of fear. It took changing the mindset about things. So,
Mhm.
everything is going to always be about mindset. So the opportunity that you've given us to be able to take our mindset about money forward into the future, into the now, is just amazing. And I'm so grateful. I'm just really excited about this. Y'all make sure y'all tap in and let the sister know. Give us some love. Send us some flowers. Put some hearts down there in that box. Do something. Let the sister know that we appreciate her and that we will definitely cherish her in the work that she has offered us, because it is a true love offering.
That's true. And I also want to mention that I really applaud those people who take action. So, with that said, that code is only good for the first 20 people who sign up for the class, right? Because this is nothing to think about. We need to take action and making the changes that we want to see ourselves in the future. So, there's no point in waiting. There's no time in procrastinating. As I said before, you don't know how much time you got on this good green earth. So one more second, one more delay to put off something that's going to put you in a better position, it doesn't make any sense to. So take action today. And like I said, the first 20 people will get that course at $24.99.
Mhm.
Yep.
Sign
And
me
20 is
up.
my number because I was born on the 20th. So
Sign me up. Where the sign
yeah.
up sheet at? Come on,
Yeah.
let's get it. Let's look at me talking about a sign up sheet. We got a digital
Mhm.
sign in now. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm old school, y'all. I'm old school. Old school. I'm one of those people. I told you, this is still like the fly hand out flies. But
Yeah. But it definitely was a pleasure connecting and building with y'all today. This has been a blast. I'd love to come
Absolutely.
back. And we'll connect again on some other
Mhm.
platforms.
absolutely, absolutely. Tell us,
Absolutely.
give us
Sure.
some of the things that you want us to know, sis, moving forward. All the things that you have. I know you have it listed, but it's good for people to hear what you have to offer for us. So let us know where we can find you, how we can
Okay.
contact you, all that good stuff.
So bloomlife.me is my site. I also have bloomlife.coach, which is my Instagram. And I'm starting a podcast, Designed by Numbers. That would be next month. So look out for my podcast. I'm going to have that. And we're going to talk about how your life is designed by numbers, right? And there's certain patterns that show up. So lots of good topics to talk about on that platform. And also I have a meditative study lo-fi beat YouTube channel called Sleep Beats. If you guys want to just tap into that, purely instrumental binaural beats to help stimulate your mind, get you into a meditative mood and help you study, relax, whatever it is that you need to do. So, just doing a lot of different things. Of course, I have my classes, my courses that I have, and then my coaching. So if anybody needs help identifying money mindset, I am there for you on that as well. Not to mention my real estate business and investing in real estate. So a lot of different irons in the fire, but keeps me happy, keeps me busy, and I look forward to helping others do more.
Absolutely. What a jewel. What a jewel. What a jewel. What a jewel. Well, Nick,
Thank you.
you know what? I thank you. And, Nick, I'm going to let you go ahead and take us up out of here this week.
All right, all right, all right. Well, thank you again, Portia. And of course, thank you, Roo. On behalf of Nick and Roo Book Review, you catch us. We'll be back on March 8th for our. I think it's about time for another surprise me session. First to surprise each other and surprise the audience. So we'll be back with book offerings. See what we come up with. But again, thank you all for hanging out with us, and thank you for your continuous support. And we'll see you on the next episode of UnRead Book Review with Nick and Roo.
All right.
And we're
Thank you,
out.
everybody. Thanks for your love and support. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.